What's going on? What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy, Sergeant Sosua, coming straight out the beautiful and amazing Dominican Republic. And today we're going to get into our second series of speaking with a VA representative that's going to help us talk about claims, times, CMP exams. A lot of brothers been emailing me and asking me, hey, how long should it take for my decision? How long should it take for me to get a CMP exam? And I just want to make a video, let the smart people talk about the process. So hopefully we can bless some veterans. You can get your VA claims finished and prayerfully you can move abroad. So I'm gonna bring in my boy Juan. He's backstage. We're gonna get him in here. What's up, brother, man? What's life treating you like?
It's all right, man. It's working.
I see the bar in the back.
Trying
Look,
to right.
I'm at the upgrade mine, bro. It was really good.
I mean, you doing all right, man. You just gotta add a little something to it. You know what
Man,
I'm
you
saying?
got the lights and the TV behind it, man. Let me get my life together, man.
No, man,
What's been up,
you got the
man?
most important thing, man. You got that flag right there behind you.
Yeah, man. Hey, I love these people, man. They've accepted me as one of their own. They tell me all the time, "You Dominican now." I say, "Well, hey, I'll be that." Y'all treat me good.
Yeah, you've been accepted into the lifestyle.
Yeah, man. It took a little time, man. You just got to be respectful to the culture and the people. You ain't gonna have no problems out here with them, man. Safest place I ever been in my life. I stand on 10 on that one. So it's good
I
people, man.
believe
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you healthy. Good to hear that you're doing all right, and you've been helping vets again. You helped out another one of our battle buddies. He got an increase on his disability with some of your guidance and your knowledge, and it really blessed him, man. So I'm sure he told you thank you, but I just want to tell you from me, thank you for helping that brother out, man. He really needed that, and you really blessed him. So we appreciate that, man, coming from the community out here.
I appreciate that. There's only a
Yeah.
couple down, man. Many to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can get to everybody I can. I tell
Yeah,
you
man. I
what,
know.
every number counts.
Yeah, definitely, man. And the fact that you're doing this, out the kindness of your heart, out of your love for our community, man, it's like you're doing God's work, man, in a sense. So I'm always gonna give you a shout out and a praise for that, brother. You really helping a lot of people out. So just keep doing what you're doing,
Appreciate that.
man. You got my support. So let's get into it, man. One of the big questions, brothers always want to know, or veterans always want to know, when they put in an initial claim and they've already been to their appointments, what would be if you had to give an average time, an average wait time from the time they put everything in to the time they actually receive a decision, what would you say your average time you would think would be?
Okay, so since you stated that way, if they've already been to the exam, so we're gonna talk about. Let's back up just a little bit. So once you put the claim forms in, if you place all of your claim forms in correctly, and you've been to your CMP exam, that means that your claim should have been pending for maybe at least 20 to 30 days. So at that point, you're already in 30 days. Once the decision has been, not decision, but once your exam results are in, that claim has to be routed to someone to make the decision. That process can take 1 day, 5 days, or 10 days. But I would say on the safe bet, from the time that you file a claim to the time that you get a decision, 60 days is our target.
Okay, so 60 days is a good target to just wait, brother. Just tell the vets,
Right.
hey,
And
60 days.
right. And if it's been over 60 days, I urge anyone to pick up the phone and call a 1-800 number to get your claim moved forward.
Okay.
There is a public contact number that when you call in about your claim and it's not moving in the way that you want it to be moved, you can ask them to give you a status and have someone call you, or you can just say, I want a decision, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and you'll get some kind of correspondence on what's going on, and that'll be routed to a claim representative to pull that claim to figure out what's going on.
Okay, so would you say that doing everything online is the quickest way to get this process going?
For somebody in the States, well, okay, so online process is the quickest way. However, there's a couple caveats. Some people are more computer savvy than others.
Right.
And then in this kind of day and age, some people are more comfortable doing it that way. If you're doing it correctly online, it's the quickest way. But
Okay.
if you're more comfortable filling out documentation and faxing it, or you can direct upload it by scanning it on a computer and submitting it through. There's a link in My Health eVets or
Yep.
va.gov that you can put your claim through in there too, paper wise, and you can do it that way as well.
Yeah, I'll tell these older vets, man, look, stop running from technology, number one. Number
Right.
two, all those, at some of our ages now, you have kids. Some of these, older vets have grandkids. They put these kids to work. They know how to manage through this technology and how to upload it. Sit down with your child or your grandchild, your niece and nephew, somebody, and say, hey, I need help with this. Can you help me process this? And just give them the information, and it'll go pretty smoothly. So you got to use these kids, man. You can't let them just sit back and reap the benefits of all your VA compensation and don't do no work for it.
Well, you
Put
got to
these
do it
kids to
like my
work.
father. Like my father used to tell me, that's what I made you for.
Right, right. We all know that ain't the truth, but I
Nah,
roll with it
nah,
too.
nah,
That's what's
man.
up, man.
That's just a statement that they make.
Right, right. So, another question I get a lot is, explain to me what exactly the CMP exam is.
Okay, so CMP exam is basically a snapshot of where you are at that particular moment. It compiles all the evidence that you sent in, as well as any statements that you submitted on your own behalf. That CMP exam is to give is either going to be a nurse practitioner, or a doctor, or a physician assistant that's going to see you, and they're going to evaluate your current severity or issue at that time of that appointment, putting in consideration all of your documentation that you submitted. That's
Okay,
basically
so
what a CMP exam is.
so do veterans need to go to an appointment first, like make an appointment first, and then start the process for their CMP?
No, so you want to first thing you want to do is you want to get one, find out what your social treatment records say. Get a copy of them, read them. Once
Okay.
you read those, then you can get a roadmap to where you need to go next. Um, if you served 10 years ago and you know you had a back issue or a knee issue, you need to have some current treatment now. It'll help your case tremendously because it's called continuity of care. We need some kind of nexus to tie the two together. If you don't have any current treatment, you're basically honing on the fact that maybe the examiner that sees you will take into consideration that they believe that you have it at that moment. It's not
Okay.
a safe bet to do at all.
Okay. So that leads into my next one. I have a lot of vets that, especially our post, um what's the conflict I'm thinking of? Post Desert Storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're around in that area and they haven't been to any appointments, right? They just got out. Some of them are zero service connected. Some might have 10 or 30% or something like that. And what they always
Right.
ask me is, oh man, I've been out for so long. And first thing I ask them is, have you made any appointments in the last 25 years or however long? They say no. And I want to ask you this just for my personal information. I always tell them, you got to get your records. You said that on the last one. And
Mm-hmm.
also, does that time have an impact, and it leads to what you just finished saying, on them filing a claim?
It depends because every veteran
Okay.
is different. When it comes to people that you say that have 0%, no, they don't matter. If they got 0%, that means um, it's been deemed part of service, so you have to battle. Only thing now you have to show is that that severity has now increased. So you
Okay,
will
so you have
go
to
to
be
a
able to show.
doctor, right? You go to a doctor, or even if you don't go to a doctor, you go to that CMP exam and you exhibit those characteristics that are in the CFR that will tell you what you need in order to be at that next level. Um, we I never condone someone going in and not being truthful, but I
Man,
do tell people to show what your day to day looks like. What does a real day in your shoes look like? When you go to the exam, you need to be able to show them that so that they can understand what you deal with. In the off chance that that one day you go to that exam and you're feeling great. I mean,
right,
it's a good day for you.
right,
Um, it's prep work. I want to make sure all veterans are getting the conversation that they should have because we're not there with you on those quiet nights when you're dealing with those issues alone. And nobody can be able to give you the best picture of where you are other than your own doctor. That one person that's seeing you in a CAP exam, he's seeing you for maybe 10, 15, 20, or 30 minutes. If it's a mental exam, you might be in there for over an hour,
right.
depending on your situation. But you don't want to hang your results and your disability on the fact that one person that sees you one day is going to be able to make a decision based off of no records.
Right. So you need to pretty much basically be able to articulate what's going on. And you
You need
can't
to know your
really
current
expect them to.
situation.
Right.
Right. And you need to be able to understand your terminology, your vocabulary. This is where a lot of veterans fall short. They don't understand that there's certain, not pop words, but there's certain phrases and terms that you use for different things, right? And you got to understand where you are. That's why going to the doctor is important or imperative for that matter, because you need to know how to articulate what you're feeling.
Right.
If I don't know if you're not sleeping well, you need to be able to tell them how long that is, for what time frame that is, and what is actually bothering you. Why is the sleep not having sleep going to affect your well-being? Why is the insomnia so detrimental to your health? What is it causing to get you to this next level? Or um but my tinnitus people, that have ringing in the ears, it's a lot of disruption that comes into that. But if you're not
Right.
able to tell them, hey, this is tinnitus and not just ringing in the ears, and I'm, yeah, it's annoying, but I'll manage. You
See,
think the
and
VA, they're gonna look at you like, okay, so that's something that we
right.
need to wait?
And that leads into what I was going to say next is veterans, we just have this pride about us. We just have this suck it up and drive on about us. And what I keep telling my battle buddies is you're not in the military no more. You don't need to do that to prove that you're tough. You don't need to do that
No.
to show that you're a soldier anymore. You have to be able to articulate. You have to be open and suck up that pride and say what's really wrong with you. And I know, especially for men, that's extremely hard. But you have to
Yeah.
understand that your disabilities are for what is going to impact you in your future and able to find meaningful work and things like that. And if you don't articulate that when you put these claims in because your chest is poked out and you still think you in the infantry and all this other stuff, you're not going to get what you should deserve because that pride. So I tell all vets, I'm telling all vets that's watching this, suck that doggone pride up and go tell these doctors, men, we hate doctors. I hate doctors, but I loved them when I went to
Did
go
too.
make those appointments. You know what I'm saying?
Because it
So you
serves a
have to be able
purpose.
to articulate it. It serves a purpose, and it's generational
Yeah.
wealth. Like I say all the time, it's generational wealth. So if you don't let your pride get in the way of generational wealth, that's what I always say to vets.
No. And then you gotta understand. I understand, and this is a veteran talking to veterans. As Sarge say all the time, you come around here with your chest poked out, you're gonna get it kicked back in. The VA is
Get
gonna be
right back in.
exactly like that. If you come out there with your chest poked out thinking that you're the baddest person in the world and you don't have to tell them how you feel and you can't articulate yourself and you put in a claim, you're wasting your time because they're going to kick your chest back in, they're going to deny everything, and then you're going to think the VA is the worst enemy. But if in life, as men and women and service people, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
Amen. That is so true.
So you got to understand where you sit and help yourself as far as you can and educate yourself. If you don't know, ask. If you need to find out, there's plenty of resources, and this is the perfect group to plug. I mean, it's the perfect time to plug in what you're doing here, Sarge, when it comes to your group over in in Dominican Republic and what you're doing nationwide for our veterans. I mean, it's imperative, and I believe in it, and I stand behind it 100%.
No, I appreciate it, man. And it's all about information. You know, all of us that serve, I've never known everything. I've never been, not that smart of a guy when it comes to that, but I always know where to get the information. And they taught us that in the military. When you sit on the boards, you don't know all the answers. What's the first thing they tell you? I don't know the answer, but I know where I can find it, Sergeant Major, right? We're taught like that. So I don't know everything. So I made a platform so the smart people that actually know it can explain it to my battle buddies. But you have to take heed. You have to take responsibility for what you are doing. I heard somebody say it the other day. Nobody's going to put your priorities ahead of yourself.
Nope.
So if you don't prioritize it, you can't expect your VA rep, you can't expect the doctors, you can't expect anybody else to take this serious if you don't take this serious and take the time to go through the process. You have to go through the process. And if anything, we know serving, we didn't hurry up and waited most of our military career. So this shouldn't be nothing new to any vet watching this. Just be patient. Continue with your life. Continue doing what you're saying to do, what I say, what my battle buddy John is telling these vets, and just be patient. It will come to you if you're doing the right thing.
It sure will. And another thing is, when in doubt, intent to file.
There it is.
When you don't know if you want, yes, because when you don't know if you want to claim something, go into e-benefits, start a claim. It'll initiate an intent to file, or you can just find an intent to file online and mail it into the VA. VA.gov has most of the documents that you want, but e-benefits will get you there quicker. You can save that date. You got 1 year from the date that you put into the file. And I believe I talked about this in the first one, but it's still so important that I need to make sure I talk to people about it, because that could be the difference between you getting benefits paid from February of this year or February of last year. So when you hear people saying they got $100,000 in back payment, that's how they got it. They got it based off of the intent to file, or because we found the earlier effective date, which isn't as common. So if you want a back payment and you know that you have the issue and you need time to build your case to understand that you have current treatment, i.e. need to go to the doctor because you haven't been in a couple of years, start going to the doctor, put your intent to file in beforehand, take your service treatment records with you, let your doctor reference those records, build upon that by getting some current treatment, and then put your claim in. And as that time goes, that date stays.
So my question is, when you talk about backdating from the intent to file, explain this. Is it from the date you put in your intent to file? If you get, explain that for me.
Okay, so if it's, when it comes to intent to file, if you're doing it through e-benefits or online through a va.gov site, it's from the date that you put it in on that day. Okay. If you're mailing it in, it's the date that the VA received that documentation via mail stamp. Okay. So once we receive it, or that fax stamp, it's 3 different ways. It's a fax, a VA processing input date, or a va.gov entrance date. Once we find out that, then that's the date that it starts your clock, your year clock. You got a year from that date to put your claim in to potentially, I didn't say
clarify,
I didn't say guaranteed, potentially be paid from the date back that you put the intent to file in, because if you still get put at 0%, or if you still get denied all the issues, you're not getting the back payment.
Right, right. And I'm glad you cleared that up, because somebody gonna be like, Sarge said, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna happen.
I believe it.
It's
I
gonna
believe
happen.
it. But nah, when in doubt, always ask. And it's pretty straightforward. It's not rocket science. Only time it gets complicated is when we start doing VA math. Now, we ain't even talking about that
We're
today.
not getting into that. We don't even have enough
No,
time on YouTube to get into that. All
no.
right. So another question I have that I receive a lot is, does your time in service have any impact on your claims process or filing a claim?
Unfortunately, no. When it comes to someone serving minimum time, a year, 6 months in training, 4 months out of training, and he got out of service and he served honorably, he has the same standpoint as a 20-year vet. If
So,
he built his medical file better than you did, he probably could come out with a better percentage than you.
so I'll give you a scenario. Private's going through training, going through his 8 weeks basic. I was a chemical guy, so we did 18 weeks total. And
Right.
he graduates AIT, right? Gets to his first duty station. He's at Fort Lewis or something, Washington. And something happens to that soldier and they end up getting out the military. They still qualify for all the VA compensation once they get out.
Yes. As long as he didn't get put out on a other than honorable
Okay.
or a failure to adapt, which is basically a admin.
Yep.
It depends. It's a whole bunch of
Right.
different things that come into play when it comes to eligibility. Because once you become eligible, then the door opens for you. But
Right.
for a soldier like that, 18 months and then did a couple months at his duty station, they should have sent him to a warrior transition battalion or put him through a process of profiles and creating records for him in the hospital. So when he got out, he should have had benefits on delivery, unless he denied going there and just wanted to get out.
I got it. Okay.
You know, when it comes to this VA stuff, honesty is the key. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to the people that's trying to help you. Honesty, and it'll get you probably further than a lie.
Definitely.
You gotta, yeah, because you got you got veterans of war, you got veterans of non-war. I don't categorize your PTSD different than I categorize somebody that had field training PTSD, because the DSM does not allow me to do that.
Got it. Okay.
When it comes to the severity, it's about symptoms and a triggering event. The event is what caused the trigger, and then your records follows it. And then the VA regulation tells every single person that's making the decision how to rate something based off of what you have, your severity, and what you need to get those things. It's
So
pretty black and white.
so it's highly encouraged, and I'll let you speak on this. Highly encouraged to maintain a record of what is wrong with you. Like everything you're saying to me, everything, the information you're putting out, it just keeps going back to the same thing. Keep a record of what is going on with your body before you present yourself to the VA. So that way they have something to go off of it. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes and no. You got to make sure, because in order for you to know what you want from the VA, you got to know what's wrong with you. So you got to be able to write down these specific things that you're saying is wrong with you, and then
Right.
substantiate these things. Now, there is certain categories where you don't need any track record, and that's for my Vietnam veterans or my Gulf War
Shout out to them.
shout out to the Vietnam veterans for sure. My Gulf War veterans like myself and Sarge, when it comes to these burn pits and these exposures, some of these things you don't need technically a track record for. these things are insinuated that you could have them, but you do need treatment. So what you had to
Right.
do is you have to go out and tell them, hey, and this is where educating comes into play. You can have a respiratory issue and not even know it. These
Yep.
doctors don't typically check for things unless you say something.
No,
And when you
that is
say something, they test you, and then you find out you have something. Then the education goes into, do you know if the VA is paying for that, or are they giving qualified treatment for that? Because more important than the compensation is the treatment, because without the treatment, you're not going to be here to reap the benefits of the compensation.
right. And a quick
So,
story on that. I was helping a Vietnam vet when the Agent Orange thing, kind of started picking up, and
mhm.
trying to help him through that. I was pretty new to it at the time when I was in Louisiana, and he was on the ship. They were exposed to Agent Orange, and he still had to prove some stuff. Now, luckily, his admiral or whoever was in charge of him was still alive, and he wrote a nice, beautiful letter because he was receiving benefits for Agent Orange and said,
A
"Hey, he
buddy
was on the
statement.
ship." Right. He was on the ship. He was one of my guys. He was exposed to the same thing. He eventually ended up getting his compensation. And I know, like you said before, with our Vietnam vets, and that's why I'm so passionate when it comes to Vietnam vets. Like I told you, I met another Vietnam vet not that long ago out here, and I asked him, first thing I asked vets, "Are you 100%?" He said, "No." I almost passed out. I mean, you're a Vietnam vet. Like, why don't you have? And like what you just said, those guys, in a sense, tell me if I'm wrong, the process is not as long because I'm guessing that they already understand what these heroes, these superheroes, that's what I call them, have already been exposed to. So if you're a
Yep.
Vietnam vet watching this, your process, from what I'm understanding from my boy Juan, is not going to be the same process for the rest of us because they're already tracking what y'all were exposed to. Am I
Yep.
right in saying that?
You 100% on key. You gotta think about it like this. They sprayed Agent Orange, and this goes out to both um, Army veterans, Marine veterans, Navy veterans that are in that nautical mile, and that the Navy veterans and the Marine veterans know exactly what I say when you're within a certain nautical miles from the VA. The Vietnam coast.
Right.
They sprayed those contaminants, or you came in contact with those contaminants based off of something that landed on your ship to refill or to go and spray again.
Right.
Those I won't go into the weeds of what Agent Orange was, but it was a chemical, and it was a bad chemical, and it was
Hey,
sprayed, and it
I'm a chemical soldier. I did it for 20 years. I know exactly what Agent Orange do to people. So
right
that's
now I
why
know
I
what it
tell
does
you
to.
guys.
We all know what it does to shrubbery and
Right.
to to forest, but what it does to the body
Oh man.
it basically exposes you in a different kind of way. There's plenty of what they call conceited um, exposure
Right.
illnesses that come along with that. And to list a few would be diabetes mellitus 2,
That's a big
a
one.
bunch of different carcinomas and melanomas of the
Yep.
skin, a couple of respiratory issues, along with prostate cancer. It's a whole bunch of different ones that go into play when it comes to Vietnam era, and there's a big long list, and I wouldn't even begin to want to read that whole list because some of it is very sad.
It's
Um,
extremely sad. Yeah.
but you got Vietnam veterans out here walking around with these issues, dealing with them on um, a day-to-day basis, not thinking that, well, they may think that it came from their father or the generational or whatever, but not knowing that these issues were exacerbated or caused by the service that they did in Vietnam, walking through those jungles. Um,
Exactly.
and
And
I just
I
wish that any Vietnam veteran, please pursue your benefits, because
yeah.
you're becoming the OGs in the game. We don't have any
They,
too many World War veterans anymore.
nah, I think we got a couple left. They in their 90s. Our Vietnam vets are getting older. So I always say that the Vietnam vets are personally responsible for everybody after them receiving these benefits. Those heroes came back. People were, treating them bad, talking to them bad, especially in the Black community. They couldn't get, they couldn't get housing.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't receiving any of these benefits. And a lot of these heroes went on and did meaningful work, worked in factories, were educated, did a lot of those things, just went on with their life.
A
And
lot of the
because of
tradesmen.
what they went through, a lot of the tradesmen are Vietnam vets.
Mm-hmm.
And because of what they went through, I'm able to live in another country and live just on my retirement and my VA benefits. And I always shout them out for that because they are personally responsible. And a lot of those guys are drafted. We don't want to talk about that. These aren't volunteers. A lot of these
No.
heroes were drafted. They were sitting at home, sitting on the farm, with their families, get a letter in, and you got to go to war. So I always
Yep.
shout those guys out, and I always thank them for everything that they blessed me with, because they are personally responsible for a lot of us living the lifestyle that we're living now. So if you're a Vietnam vet and you're watching this video, we prioritize all Vietnam vets. So if my boy Juan said he's going to help you or talk to you, if you are a Vietnam vet, you get put first in the queue. That is something we established. That is something we're not going to change, because you guys and girls definitely deserve it. So I ain't gonna keep you long, brother. I know you got a lot going on in the States. I know it's a lot of changes. Like you said, we're not gonna get into the politics, but hey, brother, I want to say again, I appreciate everything you're doing. Stay strong out there, man. You're doing great work. I appreciate every minute of your time. You've already blessed. I think we're at like 6 now that's received some type of increase just based on your knowledge and your guidance when it comes to that. And like I always say, I might not know the process, but I know somebody that does. So I want to shout out to you, brother. I really appreciate your time, and we're gonna keep this going. Hopefully, in the future, we get a couple more reps, or we get somebody else that's open to help us out, and then we'll keep this going and keep blessing our community, man.
Yeah, we can do that, and you know, um, I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, man.
Next time I know this is just a Q&A, but next time we may open it up for live questions.
Definitely,
See if
definitely.
we
Yeah,
can feel to see what people have in mind and any questions that they have, because we're not afraid from any questions. Your particular situation, if it goes into anything specific, obviously that can't be done on our live,
exactly.
but we'll try to steer you in the right direction.
Hey, brother, I
But yeah, man,
appreciate
it's
your
always a
time.
pleasure.
Hey, I
Yeah,
can't wait
and
to.
I'm
Hey, I'm stepping foot in Florida soon. Here, probably the next 60 days or something. I gotta
yeah.
go back and touch reality before I come back out here. So,
Well,
um,
while
um,
you stepping into reality, I'm stepping into the other reality.
nah,
Be over there to
already.
relax, talk to these people about these different business things, man. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate your time, brother. You have a blessed day, man. Enjoy this day off. Right, it's a day off back home.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
President's Day.
Yeah, okay. All right. I lose track of American holidays out here, man. I'm sorry. I just lose track
Yeah,
of
it's
them.
President's Day. Next holiday
Nice.
don't come up until next month. That's St. Patrick's Day, I think.
Oh man, that's
That's in
still a
the
national holiday. They need to stop that.
Yeah, man. Still a national holiday. It's it's coming up on the I think what the 17th of next
Yeah,
month.
somewhere around there. Yeah, yeah. All
Hmm.
right, brother. Hey, I can't wait to see you again, man. Next time we will do a live. Let brothers chime in. If you're
Right.
watching this, leave your comments. I do my best to get to every comment. And if you're a Vietnam vet, please leave a comment and let me know you're a Vietnam vet so we can help you out, man. So this is your boy Sergeant Sosua. This is my boy Juan coming out the beautiful, beautiful Dominican Republic. Bless everybody. Bless all our vets. And we will see y'all another time. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your time.
Yep. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, brother.